podcast for Stockport Foundation Trust, and I'm here, as you can hear in the background, on our newly refurbished maternity ward. Fabulous facilities that include some new developments of allowing partners to stay overnight. There's then the ability to stay to support mum that has just had babes and the babes, and it includes refreshment facilities and accommodation that has ensuite. Full details can be obtained from your midwife when you book in, or at any time you can contact the unit. With regard to performance, we have unfortunately continued to have some real difficulties with the accident and emergency 95% standard for patients seen within 4 hours. And over Christmas and New Year, at times we almost got up to 41% of the people who were coming into accident and emergency needing to be admitted. Those are patients with high levels of needs, and so the staff in caring for those patients have a real challenge. Thank you to those staff to continue to provide a safe service to people who come here, but apologies to those who have had to wait over the 4 hours. The good news is that even though we only achieved the 94.8% in October, November and December rather than the 95%, that is still a significant improvement to the same period last year, where we had 1,000 more patients breaching the standard. So good news, but need to do better. And the main area of challenge continues to be how we can recruit consultants and middle grade doctors within the accident and emergency department. If any of you are watching who are interested in actually finding out details of that for yourselves or perhaps a family member, I would be more than happy to personally talk to you about the kind of offer we would make for you to come to join us here at Stepping Hill Hospital Accident and Emergency Department, because we've got a high quality service that need really capable, competent and high value doctors joining us. We are continuing to develop our website to provide the kind of information that people who are interested in coming to the hospital, to the community services or to joining as a member of staff can find out information. We're part of the Open and Honest Care programme, which is a national care programme to publish data on things such as falls, pressure ulcers and infection prevention issues such as MRSA or C. difficile. I invite you to look at our website, which now has a wealth of information showing how well we're doing and comparative information. We fundamentally believe that this transparency of approach both encourages our own staff to continue with improvements, but also shows you as patients and carers and family members what we're doing with your hospital and community facilities. When I was appointed as Chief Executive, I was really lucky to have the Robert Francis report come out in its final version just beforehand. And it gave me a superb opportunity to go out and meet as many staff as I could within the organisation and talk to them about what the report was saying and how we at Stockport could ensure that we don't ever have to learn really the lessons that have been learned from the Mid Staffordshire inquiry. I was so lucky to be able to meet with over 670 staff in small groups, about 28 different groups in all over the past few months, to hear what they had to say. It was a listening event. Out of that came 5 really clear themes from staff. It was about the importance of leadership. It was the importance of teams. It was about staffing and structures to support people to do their job. It was about development, and it was about values. And those were really important issues almost consistently in my meetings that came across from the staff. What we're doing now is we're going to build upon the information that we've got. We're going to link it into the care and compassion work that we're doing very largely around nursing services. But we're also going to develop almost a part 2 Francis Listening event. That's going to include some specific structured interviews with key people both within and outside of the organisation, but we're also going to have focus groups with other members of staff to ask them how we can translate what we've learned into actually doing something to make sure we make the difference. I want to thank the staff that gave us those key themes, and almost in advance I want to say thank you to those people who will be involved in taking it forward. This is really important for the organisation. The culture of the organisation, the way in which we work, is fundamental to ensuring the safest, highest quality care and good patient experience. So it's an area that is a high priority for the board, it's a high priority for the Council of Governors, and it's a high priority for myself. We've been talking a lot in the podcasts and through other mediums about partnership with other organisations, sometimes health organisations and sometimes social care organisations and third sector. One of the innovations that has recently come to fruition is to actually integrate the management teams, the leadership teams around children's services between the local authority and the Foundation Trust. We've come to an agreement that has been approved both by the Board of Directors and by the Council in taking us forward, and we're in the process of recruiting from within existing staff to that new leadership team. The most exciting bit then comes afterwards, and that's when that new leadership team will start to talk about the pathways in which we care for any children and their families that need that. That will hopefully not only avoid duplication and therefore be more efficient, but will also be more sensitive to the actual needs of those children and their families. I see this very much as the first of many partnerships, and I want to thank my colleagues in the Council for working so closely with us to allow it to happen. It bodes very well for the future. We're looking for youth ambassadors, 3 youth ambassadors who will work with us in the Trust and specifically with a number of our governors to help us to understand how we look and how we should communicate with and respond to the needs of youth. So we're looking for 3 16 to 18-year-olds who would be interested in working with us on a range of issues. It might include trying to make sure our website looks friendly for a 16 to 18-year-old. This is a really exciting opportunity for anybody who is 16 to 18 who wants to be helping their community, and perhaps it will even help in terms of future careers that you might enjoy. So please do take a look at the website, and if you're interested, apply. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, we always want to hear from you and listen to what you have to say. And 3 comments that have come through recently, I just wanted to tell you what we've done about them. One of them was noise at night on wards, and the biggest problem with that was bins, metal bins that when they're opened and closed make a clanking noise. No good if you're enjoying a good sleep. So we've invested, and they're arriving in the hospital next week, in some special noise zero bins. They're plastic bins that close with a hush. So that's one of the things that we've listened to you about. The second one was we were finding out that some of the food that we were giving to patients was too chilled. So hot food was cold, and maybe even some of the cold food was a little bit too warm. We realised then that our food trolleys, which are not the youngest in the world, were just unable to hold their temperature. So as part of a development that we're proceeding with that will include eventually building new kitchens, we've invested ahead of those in brand new food trolleys. And last week we had the chairman and deputy chair actually trying out the food trolleys on the wards, and took them all the way from the kitchen up to the wards to be able to serve to patients. They are wonderfully modern. They have one side that is completely hot and keeps food hot but not dry, and on the other side they're nice and chilled, that keeps any fruit or desserts nice and cool. So again, we did that listening to you. And finally, a comment that was made a number of occasions, both to myself and others, was that the name badges, the security badges that we have for staff, which we require all of our staff to wear, were so small in their print that it meant that the only way patients or families could actually read them was to peer rather indelicately at the badge. Not a good way of communicating, we felt. So we've done something about it, and we've increased the print size. So I'd like to show you my before and after. In terms of the before, that's the before, with my name pretty small and my title. What we've done is we've now increased significantly the size, particularly of the name, which you can see is much larger. In terms of the job title, not as great, but I really do think that we've made a difference. And so no longer will you have to peer at the name badge. You will clearly be able to see the name of the member of the staff that you are dealing with. So please keep giving us those ideas of how we can improve. We want to listen to you and make a difference. Thank you.